WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle-Eyed Football, episode 12. And, today we've got more updates, as always, and we've got two players fighting it out for the same position. It's a position that I've been calling for us to strengthen in for years, and currently we've only had one player playing in that position for the last 3 years. At the end of this video, I will ask you guys a question. Out of the two players, who do you think we should get? You guys have probably guessed it from the thumbnail by now, but anyway, let's get straight into it. First up today, we have got an update on the new kits. Obviously, the season starts on the Friday, and for some reason, they seem to announce the kit on the Friday. So they left it till the last minute, to be fair. They couldn't really wait any longer than they really did, but it's out now. It's a black kit. It's very nice. It sort of reminds me of a kit that we had a good few years ago. This is a very nice kit, black with the red and blue stripes going down the middle. It's got little eagle indents inside of it. It's very, very nice, isn't it? It's very clean. It reminds me a lot of this shirt that we had a few years ago. You know how you got instead of Palace logos all here, you've actually got some sort of leopard print going along, but you've got the same kind of stripes, and it's almost a carbon copy, but this time we actually got I think it's a rubberized badge, but this is just a stick-on one that we had a few years ago. Oh, would you look at that? Much better. I really like this kit. I think it's probably the best out of the three kits. Obviously, it goes this, then the home shirt, and then that awful yellow kit. One thing I have to say is I really hope that we use this black kit a lot more than we did with the one from last year, because we only saw it twice, and I think we lost both games. No, we didn't. We beat Sheffield in it, and I think that's it. I hope we see it more because it is a class kit. Croydon Council, they've posted on their website, they've given the green light for everything to go, and everything is now in place for constructing the new stand at Crystal Palace. The only question now is when will they start building it? And also in Parish's interview the other day, he said that we've spent £10 million already on, moving the changing rooms and the dressing rooms underneath the homestay because there's a lot of space under there, and also they need to move it because that's where they're going to be building a new stand. It's just a question of when they start building it. It's nice to know that things are moving in the right direction. It probably won't start construction until the end of the season, but it's nice to know that something's actually being done and it's not just lip service. Bobby Manzi tweeted on the 16th of August at 5 p.m. Ebere Eze's release clause expires officially. £60 million release clause has expired. That means that we've got him for as long as his contract says now. We can still sell him, but we don't have to sell him for 60 million anymore. So we can actually ask what he's worth these days. So this is good for both player and club, because the club could get more money for him and he can actually pick and choose who he wants to go to now. So if a Chelsea came in, if Chelsea paid the release clause, he didn't have to go there. But now we can pick and choose where he goes. Fingers crossed, by doing this and by this happening, and the fact that we can charge whatever we want for him now, potentially that might actually guarantee us another season with him. Obviously he'll already go next season, but we could sell him for a lot more, and I'm okay with that. I know, why are you talking about Michael Elise even though he's a Bayern Munich player? Because he came on, and on his first touch of the ball, within 2 minutes he assisted, doing exactly what he used to do for Palace, picking up the ball out wide, driving in and picking a nice pass inside, getting a great assist. And I'm just happy to see someone that's come to our club that succeeded, and they've gone to somewhere like Bayern Munich and now they're smashing it already in their first 2 minutes of his game. And I've been saying this for ages now, he's world class, and the fact that he's now a big club, everyone else will notice it, because we've been saying this for how long? John Textor has been given exclusivity to purchase Everton. Currently he's going through the fit and proper test to then purchase Everton, but I'm sure that deal is almost sealed up. The only issue now is that the fact that he still owns Crystal Palace's stock, he has to sell those 45% share of Crystal Palace before he can officially purchase Everton, even though he has been given that exclusivity. But in that case, right now we should be doing a fit and proper test for someone, because this step wouldn't have been taken if there wasn't someone already in mind for Crystal Palace. I hope they're a good owner. I hope they put money in as much as the rest of you do, but I know we've been slagging it off the last few transfer windows because we wanted Textor to spend money, etc. But I still want this to be even though that person may come in and get 45%, I still want Parish to have the main say, purely because he knows about the club. He's not reckless and he knows what's best for the football team, and he's been doing a very good job. If you can make the money spending part of it not his job, let's say, then I think that will just merge perfectly. Also, they did the press did ask Glasner in his press conference if the situation with John Textor is affecting Crystal Palace's transfer policy or what's happening in the transfer window, and he basically just replied saying, nah, we're doing what we're doing. It is what it is. Well. Isn't it just funny at this point? Newcastle fans thinking that they can bully us into getting one of our players. No mean to be disrespectful. Granted, Mark Gay going to Newcastle would be a move up, but it's more of a sort of going a little bit sideways and then up. It's not a big jump, and I know that Mark Gay can do so much better. Newcastle have submitted 4 bids and Palace have rejected 4 bids. They have finally on their 4th bid bidded that £65 million, which Palace were asking for, but at this point, why do we want to let him go for 65? He's worth 75 in my opinion. Why I say that? Harry Maguire, £80 million, not worth it. Fofana, £80 million as well, not worth it. So if you think about it, really, 70, 75 is cheap for someone who's got English tax, who's a starter in the England team now, because I'm sure that he pushes Maguire out of that England setup at this point. Apparently, Mark's in no rush to leave. Glasner's spoken to him, got good communication between the two, and he said that Mark doesn't care, Mark doesn't want to go, then I don't want to go, I don't care. So it's nice to know that Glasner trusts him, he's put some faith into him, and it looks like that's being reciprocated a little bit. Mark seems happy at Crystal Palace. In all the training videos, he seems happy, and I think he's doing well for the club, and I think another year, trust me, he'll start for City next year or something like that. He's that good. Also, because they've had all their bids rejected and Newcastle fans have thrown their toys out of the pram, Eddie Howe is looking at someone like Trevor Chalobah as a cheaper replacement for Mark Gay, but that could also be one of our replacements if Mark Gay does go. With Gay potentially going, with larger and larger bids coming in, our interest has stepped up dramatically with Maxence Lacroix. Talk is that we've apparently agreed personal terms with the player, but the only issue at this point is that there have been no formal bids put in there and there has been no agreement of a price between Crystal Palace and Wolfsburg. To me, if we're trying to accelerate this deal very quickly, it does seem like Mark is potentially on his way out, or is it Anderson that's potentially on his way out? Because Fulham did offer for him. You never know what they're going to come back with. They spent a lot of money this season already. Are they going to come back in with a bigger offer? But I would love to have Gay, Anderson and Lacroix, because there has been a few by Edmund Brack. I think he said Lacroix could be a Gay replacement or could be an addition to if Gay stays. So having a back three of Gay, Anderson and Lacroix would be absolutely class, and Lacroix is a more than capable player to be in this Premier League. Finally, after many ups and many downs, Jezran Rak-Sakyi has officially signed on loan to Sheffield United. Granted, his agent nearly messed it up for him. His agent fees were wrong. He didn't sign some forms or something like that, but it's all done now. I'm very happy that this is done so he can get consistent football, and this is what Oliver Glasner said to him. He said that you're a great player, but I just don't think that you get the game time over some of the players that we've currently got at the club. So he sent him out on loan and he says, I want you to come back a different player. To be fair, none of us have got any doubts. It's a £2 million loan fee and there's add-ons for £2.5 million if they get promoted. So potentially if Sheffield United get promoted, we could be getting £4.5 million out of a loan. That is mad. That is crazy money. He got registered. I think he was on the bench today, and I really hope that he has a great season. We will be checking up on our loan players during the January window. Let's see how they get on. I hope Jez smashes it. Now on to Rich talking about Robin Gosens.
We are also looking at Robin Gosens. Now he's now 30 years old and he currently plays for Union Berlin in the Bundesliga. He's a left back / left wing back, and he's also had times playing as a winger. He was really prominent during the Euro 2020 tournament, where there was a specific game against Portugal representing Germany. And you can see from a lot of these images, these stills that have been put up, that as Germany are attacking, predominantly down the right-hand side, you'll find Gosens making bursts down the left-hand side, finding himself on the edge of the box or actually inside the area. And for the goal he actually scored in that tournament, because he scored 1 goal and he had 2 assists, he arrived late at the back post and finished well. Difficult height on the ball, he managed to volley it in. And then the same with the 2 assists, pretty much like mirror each other, where he's burst down the left hand side, and what he tends to do is he tends to whip the ball in low and hard into the 6-yard box, the danger area. One ended up as an own goal, the other one was tapped in by Kai Havertz. So as an attacking output, you can see that there's a lot to him and there's a lot to his game. Now let's have a look at him club level. He was most prominent during his time at Atalanta in Serie A. And in the 1920 season, he played 34 times, scored 9 and assisted 8 goals. And that's what gave him the call up to the Euro squad for Euro 2020. In the 20 to 21 season, he played 32 times, scored 11 and he had 6 assists. So his output, especially for Atalanta, was incredible. He then moved on to Inter, and unfortunately he did struggle a bit, and that was more so due to his unfortunate injury. He sustained a hamstring injury towards the back end of his time at Atalanta, and then he had a recurrent injury, same hamstring injury, during his time at Inter Milan. And he did spend several seasons there, but he didn't seem to find his form, the form that he once had at Atalanta. He then moved on to Union Berlin last season. He played 30 matches, scored 6 goals and had 3 assists. And that is kind of getting back to what he was usually having as an output. You know, and bear in mind, he was 28, 29 at the time. He's just turned 30. So even at his age, he's still a pivotal player. This is why Union Berlin still want to keep him. Now, he has the ability to get up and down the field. All right, he has a peach of a left foot, believe me. When he gets into those areas, he tends to, like I said, fizz the ball across the box, but he can also whip them in as well. And he's definitely not afraid to have a shot on goal. He carries the ball well, and by doing that, he creates a lot of space for runners. So as you can see with Mateta, he's now starting to run in behind. By Gosens driving with the ball, that will allow Mateta to make various runs, and he also sometimes runs and drives in through the centre of the pitch too. One of the areas that I think he needs to obviously work on is his passing, but I guess obviously under Glasner that could be something that he can just pass the ball to better passing players, you know. But obviously if he is in an attacking area, he has to obviously make sure that he can make that pass that can allow us to create chances. So I'm sure that will be something that Glasner will work with him if we sign him. But I've mentioned all the attacking stuff. Defensively, he's absolutely very, very astute. That comes down to his tackling and his aerial duels. Very, very strong in both departments. And one thing that I think is his best defensive attribute is his ability to stop crosses coming in and also blocking shots. And once again, going back to that game against Portugal, he kind of kept Ronaldo quiet, you know, so that's no mean feat, so fair play to him. Now, what can he offer Palace? Personally, I think obviously going forward, and this is no disrespect to Tyrick Mitchell, because I think under Glasner especially, Mitchell has been so much better going forward and with his output. But he's obviously someone who will definitely get a load more goals and assists. That to be able to get 11 goals and 8 assists in the season is unreal. It's really, really good. So credit to him for that. And it's something that, you know what, if we get goals from left wing back position, and especially with like Tyrick getting up high up the field as he does, that is credit to him as well, and that will be a benefit to the team. Lastly, I think Atalanta and also Torino are looking at him as well. Remember, he has spent time at Atalanta before, so if we are going to get this over the line, it's something that we may have to do quick. I do believe the 6 to 8 million fee is good. It's a similar price to what we got Munoz. Bear in mind he's slightly older, but then obviously experience could play a factor in this as well, you know. But let us know what your thoughts are on Robin Gosens, whether or not we should go for him, whether we should go for the other targets mentioned earlier, whether Archie Brown or Kostic. Should we go for those targets instead? Back to JC.
31-year-old Filip Kostic. He's another one of Oliver Glasner's Europa League winning team that he had at Frankfurt. Glasner obviously wants to build some depth in the squad, and he's picked out one position which has got some serious issues. Rich is already talking about Gosens, but we are now talking about Kostic. Both of them are left wing backs. He's looking to strengthen in that position because we've only had Mitchell for the last 3 years. Originally, Glasner wanted to try out Ume as a Mitchell backup. He tried him in pre-season. He tried him against West Ham. He tried him against Wolves, but he nearly got sent off in one of those games, and he looked like he really struggled. Also, the fact that Ume was meant to feature in the Premier League 2 game the other day, but it got postponed. To me, it sounds like the experiment potentially maybe wasn't a success, or maybe he plans to bring him in later down the line in the season. If we're trying to get a first-team quality backup, it does seem like Ume is going to have another season in Premier League 2 before he gets his chance again. Currently, Kostic has a ligament injury. He has been out for 62 days so far, which has already been the longest injury in his career, and he's still not fit yet, and the season started this weekend, so not very good if you're looking at it on a playtime aspect. On Transfermarkt, he's got 2 full pages of his injuries, so there's a lot of them, and he's a very injury-prone player, unfortunately. Also, he is a 31-year-old, so in my opinion, with ligament injuries at this stage in your career, you don't know what kind of player is going to come back. Is he going to come back the same player? Is he going to come back half the player? Or is he going to even come back to football full stop, because it is a serious injury, and at that age, it's going to take a long time to fully heal and get match fit. Also, with him being 31, he sort of doesn't fit the mold, doesn't fit the business model of Crystal Palace right now. We're trying to buy low, sell high, and that doesn't really fit the mold. But I do say that you can't have a team full of young players. You need experience. You need a Europa League winner. You need someone that's playing in the Champions League constantly at Juventus. And I think he'd be the perfect kind of player. Granted, you'd only need him for 1 or 2 years, similar to Kamada, but it's the experience that will just pay dividends in the future. However, that's all the bad. Let's get on to the good. And Kostic is a very, very, very good left wing back. He's a left wing back that likes to make forward runs, likes to drive with the ball, and he likes to be physically present in the game. Most of the time he plays as a winger, but he does do the defending work if he needs to. He's able to pick up the ball, run down the wing, either put a cross in, put a pass in. He can do it all when it comes to attacking. With him being so experienced and being so good in attack, he could teach Mitchell a lot of stuff of how to attack. He's got a lot of experience of how to do it in Champions League, in Europe, and how to do it in league football as well. And also because even though he is of a certain age, he's still of a certain quality, and he'll still challenge Mitchell for that first team spot. So he can teach Mitchell and push him as well. Even with his pretty shocking injury record, he does play a hell of a lot of football each year. For example, 33 games last season, 56 games for Juventus the season before. But where his numbers really start to shine is if you start to look at his Frankfurt days, where he did play under Oliver Glasner. Please remember that when I read off some of these stats, that this will be for club and country and in all competitions. So throughout the whole season of football, what his stats are. So 18-19, 10 goals, 13 assists. 19-20, 12 goals, 18 assists. 20-21, 4 goals, 17 assists. Remember, in that season, he did all of that only playing in Bundesliga, and he only had 30 appearances. So he had 21 GA in 30 appearances, which is crazy. And 2021, 7 goals, 15 assists. Even if you talk about his time outside of a Glasner system where he didn't fully show exactly what he can do, he's still got 3 goals and 9 assists from a left wing back that was still injured that season as well. So he is an extremely effective footballer. And really, the numbers are just silly for a left back. Before we get into these images, these are from Juventus, so they are his most recent playing time at a club, and this isn't him playing his best football. Like I said, I was gonna go and find some Glasner images, but the fact that Juventus is his most recent club, I think that this is a better use case for these images. Here you can see him defending. You know, he's able to think very quickly, he's able to run back quick, commit himself into the slide tackle, and it's a great tackle because he gets round the player, he's near to the byline, but he still gets to push the ball out for a throw-in, so it's not a corner. Here you can see him shielding the ball from the defender after a corner. The ball's come out to him. He's let the ball roll through his legs, and it's rolled through the opposition's legs as well. He's absolutely spun him, and look at the distance he travels. He picks up the ball here and he runs all the way to the other end of the pitch. Basically runs from end to end of the pitch while he's looking for a pass. But when he gets to the byline, he looks up, a striker's made a good run. Great pass inside, and the striker scores a nice goal. Here you can see him picking up a space where we've seen Mitchell many times. You know, he's sort of halfway into the opposition's half with loads of space, holding the touchline. Looks up, whips a great cross in. Striker doesn't even have to jump. He's just sort of in the middle of the 2 centre-backs, loops over the top of the first one. Not hard enough for the second one to jump over the striker, and he just heads it into the goal. Great cross, great idea. Shows a little bit of versatility, a little bit of variation in how he can attack. Finally here, you can see him pressing a striker. They're trying to take the ball to feet. He nicks the ball through his legs, takes a nice touch, looks up, sees another defender coming straight towards him, takes another quick touch to the outside, and then he runs down the wing, and he's got loads of space to start driving into. And it doesn't end up in a goal, but it's very nice to see that a left wing back has got so much composure on the ball and so much flair to actually think of doing something like that and creating a chance out of it. He's done in all of these situations, he's made a lot out of nothing. And I just have to keep reiterating, he is a left back, but he does play like a winger, but he can still defend, which is just incredible. So the question is to you guys, Gosens, Kostic, or Archie Brown? Archie Brown apparently will cost about £10 million. Kostic, apparently it will be £6.8 million. and Gosens will cost about £15 million. Put in the comments below who you think we should go for. And yes, guys, that is it. That is Transfer Weekly episode 12. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please put in the comments below who you want me to cover next week, because I think next week is the last week of the video form, and then it will be the deadline day stream. And yes, guys, that is all. That is Transfer Weekly episode 12. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Put in the comments below who you want me to cover next week. And as always, guys, out the palace. Eagles.